So from that moment, you're now in entrepreneurship. Do you move back home?
Yeah.
Or you move back home at that period?
I moved back home.
Yeah.
Of course, I can't pay my own rent.
Yes,
I have
yes.
no steady income.
Yes.
So I moved back home, went and borrowed 20,000 bob from my dad. And that was like the first capital we injected in the business. And that 20K, I used it to pay for flights. I remember very well. Like Jumbo, no, not Jumbo, Fly 540, fly to Mombasa. Because we were trying to sell to KTDA, KTDA, the tea agency. Like we can help them trace tea from farm to the warehouses before like tea is traded. So that gave us money, 20K. I flew to Mombasa. And the reason why I flew to Mombasa was because I got late. I didn't read the fine print on an email. You're told, come here at 8
Yes.
a.m. I didn't read where. So I assumed it's KTDA and Moi Avenue, the same KTDA. Kumbe, the whole thing is in Mombasa in Miritini.
Yes.
So I wake up, polish my shoes, go that morning and sit there in KTDA head office. And I'm told, hey, the meeting is in Mombasa. I'm like, oh, crap. So how do you raise 20,000 to pay for a flight? So I called Dad, like, Dad, I've screwed up. There's this opportunity. Please give me 20K. I'm sure I'll pay it back. So he lends me 20K. I go to Mombasa, and then I go into this room. I find like probably 20 people from chai trading. KTD is huge. I find all the big guys sitting in a room. And then I remember very well looking down, and then I see papers from like guys who were there before me. So we were like 20 vendors. And one of them was Oracle. Funny thing. I could see Oracle, I could see big names, and I was like, oh no. You're late. You're coming to tell these guys that I'm bigger than these guys. And I pitched. And after I pitched, they loved my platform for one thing.
Yeah.
I had an app. Everyone else didn't have an app. It was way back. So I had an app that, the factory and the warehouse guys could use to track tea.
Yes.
And they loved it. And that's the thing that made me like go into the next step of like recruitment. So I remember I came back to Nairobi. Now I was minus 20,000 in debt.
Yes.
I owed that money. And then 2 weeks later, we received a memo that guess what? That whole tender is cancelled.
The whole tender?
Yeah, the whole tender. Because I don't know, blah, 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 politics. It got cancelled. I was like, so what do we do? I owe my dad money, and I have no way to pay it. So I remember my co-founder, who I met in JKUAT, Martin, he was a techie. So at that time, he went to NILAB, actually. And NILAB were hosting an Intel challenge. So where guys go and game and they win stuff. So he won a Samsung Galaxy Tab. That was really hot back in the day. And that was like the first asset we had. We had to sell it in the black market. We sold it for 42K. I paid Dad. And then the balance, we went to Ngara and we said we're getting an office.
Was your dad asking for the money back?
Yeah. My dad was broke then, man. Like,
so he's
like, yeah, this
so
money you told me,
not,
the 20K is not.
It's real. Like, it's a real loan. Like, we need that money back.
Because I told him I'll pay it. Within 2 weeks, it will be awarded.
Yeah.
We have a good shot. So I had to pay him. So we sold the tablet.
Oh,
man.
gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
So you go to Ngara, then get an office.
Yeah, get an office. And then I got the office and the rent was 20K, I remember. But we didn't have deposit. But the guy was gracious enough. He was like, you guys are starting. I think he just saw us in so problems. And I remember very well, he was an accountant. And he said, it's okay. You guys are my sons. You're starting up. That 20K, bring it. I'll not ask you for deposit. In fact, I'll give you 2 plastic seats. Like the ones you sit for on those like shags weddings.
Yes.
2 plastic seats, 1 table. That was it. And an office. And then we give him 20K. And then it's like, don't pay me deposit. This is for your first month.
Okay.
And that's how we started.
So what are you guys doing in the office when you're going to the office? Do you have computers? Do you have...
Nothing, no structure, no nothing.
You're just going to the office.
Yeah, so I had my laptop. Martin had his laptop. So it was saying, okay, this KTDA thing, let's see if they're going to retender it. We try it again. But let's see if we can build enough websites for people to stay afloat. So we were just looking for gigs, do a website for someone here. You need a system to manage your invoices. We'd create something for you. You need an app for something. We'd do that for you. So it was pretty much small gigs. 20K here, 30K here. Interestingly, after we moved in that first month, we got a job for 80K. And we were like, oh my God, 4 months rent. That's the first thing that came to our mind. Like 4 months rent. Yes. We took it and then we did the job and then we were paid and then it pretty much started like working. So we'd get small gigs. We'd find ways to pay rent one way or another. Yeah, going forward. Yeah.
When do you start paying yourself?
Oh, probably 3 years later.
3 years later.
Yeah.
How do you survive for these 3 years?
Yeah, so it used to be when we'd get a job, we'd look at our costs. So if we get 100K, we'd say, okay, let's take 40K for rent, 10K for consumables, then the rest we split two-way.
Okay.
That's how we used to work. So yeah, that's how we used to work. So that's how we'd survive for
Yeah.
like 3 years.
And within these 3 years, do you move out of home?
No.
So even whatever you're making, it's not enough to...
Yeah, it's not enough,
Okay.
man. Like it's not enough. And you know, it's a lot of trying. You know, you get 2 good months and then 4 months of nothing. So moving from home will be a huge risk for us. And my folks weren't really chasing me away from home.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I really wanted to prove it to them. That, because you'd hear those subliminals, you know, like, hey, just you find something, find a good job. I'm like, no, this thing has to work. So at least I'd get enough money to take care of my bus fare to work and back.
So you're not asking them for
I'm
money?
not asking them for money.
You're just living in the
Yeah,
house?
I'm just living in the house. So I think they didn't have a big problem because they had their own like fair share of struggles and stuff. So that's how I lived for like 2-3 years. Yeah.
Okay. What about your brothers? What are your brothers doing at this point in time? And are you in any way comparing your journeys with theirs?
Yeah. So when I was finishing uni, my bro he got a very good NGO gig, I remember. And he was earning like 6 figures. So he'd be the guy I'd go and borrow money for, you know, my birthday is coming up, bro, you know, I need to impress this chick, you know, give me 10K, I promise I'll use it wisely. Of course I wouldn't. And that job ended. So I think I grew up seeing people being in jobs and those jobs ending. And I'd see the life after those jobs endings because he really struggled to get another job. And he ended up like working with my dad's hardware. And I was like, okay, no, I don't want to be another statistic, you know, go somewhere, get employed and end up out of like work. The same thing I saw with the second born, is that he really also struggled getting jobs. I think that's a time like Kenya, like we were graduating
Like where
a
we
lot
are
of
now.
us. Yeah, like where we are now. So a lot of guys coming out of uni, but there's no opportunities. So like I said, I learned a lot from people. So I saw that and I was like, no, I have to change like my story. This can't be it. So I could see their journeys and a lot. I mean, they went into business, entrepreneurship, you know, working for my dad, and I'd see their lives improving after that. So I was like, I think I need also to create something for myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens for your business that then allows you to start paying yourself? Like, what's the thing that happens?
Yeah. So through that journey, if there's one thing we had is grit and resilience. I don't know where it came from. Believing every morning you wake up that this thing is going to work, but you're still earning your 10Ks, 20Ks. Then something interesting happens. You know, in the 3 years, I have been networking with people. And now I understand the value of relationships and networks. I meet people here and there, and then an opportunity comes from the government of Seychelles.
The government of Seychelles?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, a friend of mine I met called Jared, like, Collins, hey, I know you program a lot with Microsoft services and stuff. There's an opportunity, and this government is specific, the kind of engineers they want to hire for this job. So the Department of ICT fly to Kenya. I thought it was a joke. They fly to Kenya, and then we were told, okay, you guys, you sent your documents. We love the expertise you have. We're still in Gara, by the way. That time we're only 3 people: me, Martin, and Alex. Alex joined us later as a programmer, and we went to Harova in town, and that's where the interviews were. And the interview was, hey, here's a project. You have 30 minutes. Build a system. So we were like
the interview is
is you to code. Remember, at that time, we're 3 of us. I realized early on that all of us can't code. I need to be the suit. I need to be the guy looking for business.
Yeah.
And then I bring the business, these guys code it. So I was really rusty. But I was like, yeah, let me just go and code and figure this thing out. So they bring out the exam, I look at it, I was like, man, I don't understand anything. I've been like probably 3 years out of the game. I don't know how to program.
Yeah.
So I failed terribly. But my partners passed. So after the whole thing, you know, they went back and the emails are like, yeah, we're happy. We want to take 2 of your people. Give us 2 of your engineers to come with us, you know, to Seychelles, and we'll pay Terra. I was like, okay, how much are you gonna pay Terra? And then they sent the commercials. I was like, whoa. Now this is good money. Now you're probably being paid around $3,000-4,000 month, and the two people they take from your company to go to Seychelles, all expense paid in per diems. So those guys are earning an additional probably 1,300 USD
Just
each.
based on
And then
the company's making
the company's making money. That's when things changed. Because now we were in Seychelles for slightly over a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a good contract.
A good contract. And that's the time we realized, okay, now we are making money now.
Yeah.
Was
it difficult for your partners your partners understood the way your business worked? So when the $4,000 was coming, it wasn't a thing of, well, it's really us who've gotten the money.
There's a story there, actually.
Okay.
There's a story there.
Yeah.
So one of the partners, Alex, dropped off. I think when he realized the company is making like 4K USD and is only getting this, and you're like, no, this is for the company. The company needs this money to grow. He didn't like that arrangement, so after the contract ended, he left. So that's how we ended up being two co-founders at Terra.
I see.
Instead of three.
But at the time, he agreed to abide by the...
Because you moved from like 30K.
Yes.
Now you've been paid in dollars, man. You convert that money and you're happy.
Yes, yeah.
And now it's consistent now revenue month on month. It means now stability. You can start thinking about bigger things. So I remember when I broke the news to my dad that, hey, we've gotten a contract with the government of Seychelles. I was like, how?